प्रेम से समापति महादेव की जय, वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की, बजरंग बली की जय. As we begin this beautiful night, let us all stand as we now join in Shri Hanuman Ji Arti. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswati Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namo Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namo Narayanaya Namaha. Om Vigneshwaraya Namaha. Om Bhalachandraya Namaha. Om Ganajakshaya Namaha. Om Vigneshwaraya Varadaya Surapriyaya Lambodaraya Vikataya Bhalachandraya Ganajakshaya Namaha. Om Namo Hiranyavahave Hiranyavarnaye Hiranyarupaye Hiranyapate Mikapadama Pashupatebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Hanumate Namaha. आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ कला की. As we begin this beautiful night, as we pay salutation once more, the fourth night of worship and devotion to Mahavir Swami, tonight devotees, as you stand here, forget the world, forget the entire universe, forget everything that is taking place on the outside. And Prabhu, आपको बारंबार प्रणाम नमस्कार करता हूँ Lord, as we feel the very energy that emanates from the earth around our beautiful Mahavir Swami. He is called Sankat Mochan, he is called Pavanaputra, he is called Bajrang Bali, and he is called Shri Hanuman. As we wave the sacred light and we join in wonderful arti, we pray for peace and for happiness. Arati ki jai Hanuman lala ki, dushta dalana raghunath kala ki. आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ कला की. आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ कला की. जाके बल से गिरिवर कापे, रोग दोष जाके निकट न जाके. जाके बल से रोग दोष जाके निकट न जाके. अंजनी 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 पुत्र महाबलदाई, संतन के प्रभु सदा सहाय. आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ कला. जय गोविंदा. जारी सिया सुधिलाए. देवीरा रघुनाथ पताए, लंका जारी सिया सुधिलाए. लंका से सुध समुद्र से गाए, जात पवन सुध पार न लाए. ओम श्री हनुमान नमः. लक्ष्मण मूरजित परे सकारे, आनी संजीवन आनी संजीवन आनी संजीवन. लक्ष्मण मूरजित परे सकारे, आनी संजीवन प्राणो बारे. पैती हो पैती पकार डोरे रमकारी, अहि रावण के उजारे. सुन नर मुनि आरती उतारे, जय 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 हनुमान उचारे। सुन नर मुनि आरती उतारे, जय 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 हनुमान उचारे। कंचन 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 तारक पुरचारी, आरती करत अंजना माई। जय 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 हनुमान, 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 जय 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 हनुमान। हनुमान 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 हनु। बजरंगबली की जय। आसन लीजिए सब लोग, let's all take our seats. As we begin this beautiful night once more, we take this golden opportunity to welcome each and everyone on behalf of myself and the members of the celestial Gandharvas. We say Aapko Swagatam, Namaskar, a cordial welcome to all devotees who've come from far and near to join with us, bringing once more your divine energy to create the atmosphere of Ayodhya. Once more, we are at the feet of Mahavir Swami, 15 feet tall. And as we take this moment to embrace this divine energy, to all those who take a moment, who have taken a moment to pray, may blessings of Mahavir Swami be with you. To all those who are locked on via Facebook as well, 103.1 FM. To all those who tune in via my Facebook, we say Swagatam, welcome to tonight's Divine Yajna. As we begin our night, without further ado, let us all sit upright. Let us close our eyes as we invoke the presence of the Devis and the Devatas through beautiful mantras. वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटे समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देवा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा या देवी सर्वभूतेषु दुर्गारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु लक्ष्मीरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु सरस्वती रूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः प्रणव पवन कुमार कलबन पावक ज्ञान धन जासु हृदयागा बसहि राम सरचापधन अतुलित बलधामं हेमशैलावदेहं धनुजवन कृशानं ज्ञानिनामाग्रगण्यं सकलगुणनिधानं वानरानामदेशं रघुपतिप्रियभक्तं वातजातं नमामि। जयन्ते मंगला काले भद्रकाले कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवा दात्रे स्वाहा स्वधा नमोस्तुते। रूपं देहि जायं देहि यशो देहि यशो देहि। रूपं देहि जायं देहि यशो देहि यशो देहि। ओम श्री हनुमते नमः। ओम श्री हनुमते नमः। श्री हनुमते नमः। श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधार वरनो रघुबर विमल जसु जो दायक फल चार। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरा पावन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। आंजनेय हनुमान जय वीर हनुमान। आंजनेय हनुमान जय वीर हनुमान। जय वीर हनुमान आंजनेय हनुमान। जय वीर हनुमान आंजनेय हनुमान। पवन सुत हनुमान की all together। जय वीर हनुमान आंजनेय हनुमान। जय वीर हनुमान आंजनेय। जय वीर हनुमान आंजनेय हनुमान। जय वीर हनुमान आंजनेय हनुमान। जय वीर हनुमान आंजनेय हनुमान। जय वीर हनुमान आंजनेय। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवास सुमति के संगी। अंजन वदन विराज सुवेशा कानन कुंडल हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजय। काने मोज जनेऊ साजय जगर सुवन केसरी नंदन। निज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी चातुर। राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया। राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। जय वीर हनुमान आंजनेय हनुमान। जय वीर हनुमान आंजनेय हनुमान। जय वीर हनुमान आंजनेय हनुमान। जय वीर हनुमान आंजनेय। जय श्री राम। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा। विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे। रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए। श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई। तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई। सहस वदन तुम रोज सगावे। अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सरकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीषा नारद शारद सहित रही सायं कुबेर दिगपाल जहांति। कवि कुबेद कहि सके काति तुम पुकार छुपे वही कीन्हा। राम मिलाय हनुमान अंजनेय हनुमान जय वीर हनुमान अंजनेय हनुमान जय वीर हनुमान अंजनेय हनुमान जय वीर हनुमान अंजनेय। सहस्र योजन पर भानो लील्योता ही मधुर पल जानो प्रभो मोद्रिका मिल मुख माही हृदय लागी गए अचर जनाई दुर्गम काज जगत के देते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे देते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे और तना क्या बिन पैसारे सब सुकला है तुम्हारी शरणा रक्षक ताहू को जरना आपण ते समारो आवे तिनहु लोक हाउ कते गावे भूत पिशाच कट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे जय वीर हनुमान अंजनेय हनुमान जय वीर हनुमान अंजनेय हनुमान जय वीर हनुमान अंजनेय हनुमान जय वीर हनुमान अंजनेय। All glories to Mahamudra. नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट दे हनुमान छुड़ावे मर्दम वचन ज्ञान जोड़ावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा इनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन पल पावे चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा है वर्ष जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुआरे अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता सबर दीन जान के माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दास जय वीर हनुमान अंजनेय हनुमान जय वीर हनुमान अंजनेय हनुमान जय वीर हनुमान अंजनेय हनुमान जय वीर हनुमान अंजनेय। पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति राम लखन सीता सहिता हृदय बसो सुरभो। पवन सुत हनुमान की, बजरंग बली की। On this beautiful night, once more, We welcome each and every one to tonight's devotion, where we praise the wonderful energies of Mahaviri Swami. It is said by worshipping Pavanaputra, we are praying for Bala Buddhi Vidya. He is the Lord of strength, mental, spiritually, emotionally, physically. And while we worship you tonight, Lord, we can't forget that while today is dedicated to the mothers, the divine devis of the universe, we join on this night of devotion where we pray pranams to Adi Shakti. While we worship Sri Jagadamba Mata, we invite everybody to sing along and to take part as we praise the Supreme Goddess. Om Narayaniyo, Narayaniyo, Om Narayaniyo, Narayaniyo, Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga. All together boliye, Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga. Jagadambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga, Jaya Jagadambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga. Jai Ambe. Tonight, devotees, as we would remember the katha from last night, Lord Hanumanji, he went to his mother, Anjani Mata, and he showed the mother the divine Lord Prabhu Ramachandra, and he says, Ma, this is the Lord. No matter how much strength he got from Sri Ram, no matter how many days and weeks and months and years he stood at the side of Sri Ram, last night he says, Lord, as much as I'm connected to you, Lord of the universe, I miss my mother. And he had to go to his divine mother. Tonight, my friends, we are worshipping Adi Shakti. Let us pray to our mother. Take a moment tonight and forget the whole world. Ma, we are humble children sitting at your lotus-like feet. We are placing our feet on the earth. We are touching the ground and we are feeling your energy. Tonight, it is up to you. Take a second, and if you can allow your feet to touch the earth of the Dharti Mata, the earth of the ground itself, say, Ma, I am connecting my energies to you. It is said when the energy is grounded with Dharti Mata, the energy can flow, it can cleanse us, it can purify us, it can rid us of all negativities. Take a moment tonight and feel the energy of our Mother. Jai Jai Ma. सबके सपना देखा, ऐसा हमको वर दे। जय जय माँ, 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 जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय माँ। जय जगदम्बे, जय जगदम्बे, जय जगदम्बे माँ दुर्गा, जय जगदम्बे माँ दुर्गा, जय जगदम्बे माँ दुर्गा, जय जगदम्बे माँ दुर्गा। ओम दुम दुर्गाय नमः। ओम नारायणी, 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 ओम। जय जगदम्बे, जय जगदम्बे माँ दुर्गा, जय जगदम्बे माँ दुर्गा, जय जगदम्बे माँ दुर्गा, जय जगदम्बे माँ दुर्गा। ओम नारायणी, ओम नारायणी, ओम। एवरीबॉडी बोलिए वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की, आज शक्ति दुर्गा देवी माता की। बोलो ओम नारायणी, ओम नारायणी, ओम नारायणी, ओम नारायणी, ओम। जय जगदम्बे माँ दुर्गा, जय जगदम्बे माँ दुर्गा, जय जगदम्बे माँ दुर्गा, जय जगदम्बे माँ दुर्गा। Last night, my dear friends, we ended a wonderful message where we spoke of Lord Hanumanji, who had gone to the village. He had gone down to the village and he had gone to one of the dukan wala. In Hindi, it is called a dukan wala, one of the shopkeepers. When he went to the shopkeeper saw him and says, "Arey, are you Bajrangabali? Are you that great Lord Hanuman?" He says, "Haan, it is me." And the shopkeeper said to him at that point, he says, "I heard that you had gone to Lanka and you burned down the entire city of Lanka." He says, "Haan, I did." The shopkeeper then said, "But how did you do it? Can you demonstrate how did you do it?" He said, "You want me to show you? Well, I will show you. Bring oil, bring ghee, bring cloth." And he tied the tail of Lord Hanumanji. And the katha last night ended where it is said Bajrangabali, he allowed his tail to be caught afire. And as soon as the tail was caught afire, he jumped onto the roof, onto the rafters of the shop of the shopkeeper, and he burnt the entire shop down. He then jumped down, and when he jumped down, the shopkeeper started to panic, and he says, "Look at what you've done." And Mahavir Swami says, "But you wanted to see, not so?" He says, "Well, I didn't want you to burn down my shop." So Paunaputra is saying, "So whose shop you want me to burn down? Your friend's shop? The neighbor's shop? Whose shop do you expect me to burn?" And there the shopkeeper became so agitated. He got up and he left and he started to now go to the palace of Ayodhya. He says, "I will complain to your Lord." And let's see what he will say now. Paunaputra, he had nothing to say. He says, "Well, jao na, go." The shopkeeper entered the palace of Prabhu Ramachandra. Prabhu Ram was now carrying out a council, a meeting. And he opened the doors of the council and he walked in and he says, "Prabhu, maaf kijiye. Please forgive me for entering like this. Prabhu, I have something that I want to bring up. I have a situation that I want you to address, Lord." And the Lord says, "Hare ji, please, batao, tell me, what is it?" As a rightful king, he will rule his kingdom to the best of his ability. He says, "Please tell me, what is the problem?" He says, "Prabhu, your bhakta, your devotee, Today he burned the entire shop to ashes. I don't know what went on with him and what happened to him, but he burned down the entire shop. And Prabhu Ram says, but that is not like him. Why would he burn down your shop? Did something happen? Somebody call Bajrangabali, tell him to come. Ministers, find him and tell him to come. I won't accept this behavior. So at that point, Prabhu Ram is waiting. And while he's waiting, ministers have gone to bring Bajrangabali, and he didn't run from the fight. He came, he was not too far away, and when he heard that Prabhu was looking for him, he entered now, and as soon as he entered, he looked at Prabhu and he smiled. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram. Bolo? Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram. Do akshar ka pyara naam. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram. Do akshar ka pyara naam. And he walked in and he says, Prabhu, Jai Shri Ram. Prabhu, kya hua? Hanumanji, look at me. I'm not smiling now. Hanumanji, tell me, do you know this person? Ha, Prabhu. Hanumanji, did you burn down his kutia, his little shop? Ha, Prabhu. Why would you do such a thing? Who is going to build it back? Prabhu, you. Prabhu, you are ruling the kingdom. Prabhu, you handle the affairs of the people. I am just a mere devotee. What do you want me to do? And Prabhu Ramachandra, he says, but why would you do such a thing? Is it the mentality that you have now? Is your ego getting too big that you feel you are Bajrangabali? If your ego is too big, tell me, I will bring it back down, you know. And Mahavir says, Prabhu, what did you hear? He says, well, the shopkeeper is right here. He said to me that you burnt down his shop. Prabhu, did you ask how and why? Have you ever heard they always say there are two sides of a story? Have you ever seen in today's world how many times there are two sides of a story, but so many times we hear one side and we judge and we criticize and we leave it as it is? We know there's always one side, but we always listen to that one ear, that one side, and we are quick to judge. We are judgmental in the world. We are quick to compare, to put down people, to disgrace people. We are ready to fight down people in the world without even understanding why and how. Who are we to judge? Who are we to criticize? Who are we to bring down people? Prabhu says when there's a problem in your life, you go to the root of the problem and you address it. When there's a crisis in your home and you have a problem with your brother, you don't go and tell mommy and daddy and your two other sisters, and when you finish, you come and say, well, here what, I want to talk to you. And that time, everybody looking at you now with a bad eye. When there's a situation in the community, you do not go everywhere and speak to everybody, and in the end, you still have to come back by the same person. When you have a problem in your job, this is what you do. You don't go everywhere, and in the end, then you go to that person. Always address a situation at the root of the problem. It stops all the chaos. It stops all the shame. It stops all the scandal and all the negativity. Be that bigger person to address it as it is. Just for clarification, yesterday when I left to go back home, while I was going home, somebody called me in a very angry manner, and they were addressing me about something that I said one night. And they said to me, Panditji, you are in no manner to say what you said. So I said, what did I say wrong? And he said to me, on that night where Bharata lit up the entire city of Ayodhya, he dressed the entire place to the best of his ability. He told the people of Ayodhya to buy new clothing, purchase whatever you can, dress yourself. And I explained where I remember my grandparents, when you sit for puja, you probably don't have no $1,000 sari, but you dress with the best that you have. In your mentality, what is your best? Nobody tells you to go and put your hand where you can't reach and buy something that you can't afford. Nobody says to put your hands where you can't reach and take money and buy jewelry and buy clothing and buy anything. Shabari Mata, she had nothing. But you know what beautified her home? She took flowers, petals, and she filled the pathway. So when I mentioned on that night that one must put out your best, one must dress beautiful, one must dress wonderful in front of God and put on the blessed clothing and your jewelry and everything. Then last night that call said to me, Baba, not because you could dress nice means everybody could afford. Jai Bhagwan. So for clarification, for people who may think that I was referring to you going out of your way to buy what you can't afford or to purchase something that you can't reach, it is not that. Shabari Mata had nothing, but she took flowers. It is said cleanliness is close to godliness. An ambition for God is important. You can have nothing. You can have rag clothing, but you can fix yourself properly. You can fix your mind properly. You can take a different approach to every situation. And not because maybe things are not as it is supposed to be from the eyes or the comparison of people in the world. Do not compare yourself to be others. And if maybe you can't be like somebody else you're trying to be, or look like others probably can't, it doesn't mean that anything is wrong. In the eyes of God, we are all humble human beings, making an experience in the world and allowing God to be a part of it. With whatever you have and whoever you are in the world, whatever status, maybe a status or maybe none, God accepts the heart. But He says when you sit, it is not about the physical. The mind gives the ambition to be that physical. The mind or the state of mind allows you to be who you are. When you sit before God, if you can't deck physically, then with the ambition of the mind, cleanliness with a clean thought, and physically with a clean environment, worship God. In the world, stop being judgmental for little things. In the world, it is not for anybody in particular, but we judge our brothers sometimes. We judge our mothers sometimes. We judge our sisters sometimes. We judge our friends sometimes. We are ready to judge. Who are we to point fingers? Who are we to even say, hey, you see you see what he did? You see how he looked? You see what he did last night? You see what she did? Who are we to even judge? Things happen by God's grace. And if something happens, Bhagwan knows what the story will unfold to be. Let it be. Tonight, while Bajranga Bali, he speaks to his Lord. He says, Prabhu, did you ask him why burnt it down? Prabhu says, no. I didn't ask him why. Hanumanji, why? Well, Prabhu, listen. There's no comments to start, right? Prabhu, he wanted to see how I burned down Lanka. So I showed him how. And I burned down his place. Prabhu says, okay. So he asked to see. Yes, he asked to see. Shopkeeper, what do you say? Well, Prabhu, I asked him to see, but I didn't say burn down mine. So Prabhu says, so what do you expect him to do? Burn down the person next to you? Have you no compassion for the people around you? Are you selfish? Are you an egoistic person? Do you prefer see people hurt? But when it comes to you, you should be fine? Do you know there are people in the world who live like that? Even if you are my brother and you have to fall down, it's fine, but give me your last $10 now. I can make it out. Even if you can't make it out, it's fine. Don't worry. I can make it out for you. I will tell you the experience after. There are people in the world who seek everything for themselves. They are selfish. They are egoistic. They only think of themselves in the world and nobody else. Today, beautiful bhajan says, नदियाँ न पिय कभी अपना जल, वृक्ष न खाई कभी अपने पल, अपना तन का मन का धन का दूजों को दे जो जान है, वो सच्चा इंसान रे, इस धरती का भगवान है. नदियाँ न पिया कभी अपना जल. One of the most beautiful bhajans that says that life is about being selfless and not selfish. Life is about giving back. I didn't intend to tell anybody anything, but tonight I want to mention something very briefly. Recently, devotees have decided, devotees were speaking to me, and they said, Panditji, you well traveling, boy. You're going all over the place, boy. You're probably well making it big. And I said to them that while you may think I'm making it big, just like everybody else who works hard, it is not easy to just jump on a flight from here to there to there. Think about the sacrifice before to get on a flight. The sacrifice before 2-3 hours before to get there, to check in, to reach there. As soon as you land, you're jet lagged and you can't even move and you got to see people and be like, Sitaram, everybody. Think about it. Life is about sacrifices, not so. And while people would speak in such a manner, while coming back here, I decided, you know what? While being there, the little that I earned, I want to give back personally for God. I didn't intend to tell people this, but I feel after this message, I want to say that I decided, you know what? I want to do something for God. As Pundit, we expect that we go places and people give the Pundit. Shri Krishna Arpanam, Panditji take, Panditji take. And I decided, for this Yajna, I love Shri Hanuman. It doesn't matter who comes, who doesn't come, who's here, but if you're here, you're lucky for the ambience and the energy of the Lord. And myself and the members of the Celestial Gandharvas decided, you know what? Let us come together and give back. This is not about asking for anything, but it is about giving back. What are we giving back? The greatest gift that anybody could have, which is Atma Gyan, knowledge of the scriptures. Enjoy the kahanis of Mahavir Swami. Walk around, dance if you must. Enjoy the music, feel the vibrations, feel the aura. It is all about the consciousness or that super consciousness of God, hoping that it can motivate each and every one. In life, we can't just take. We must learn to give back. And you know what it gives? It gives a peace of mind. It gives a peace of understanding. It gives you tranquility in your thoughts. If you see a child and you walk up to that child and you give a child a snack or a gift, how does the child feel? That child bursts in laughter. How do you feel to see that child in laughter? You feel good. You feel nice inside. You say, you know what? Wow. The joy, the smile of that child, it is beyond anything in the world. Life is about giving back. Hand in hand. How do we say it? One hand alone no clap, right? We work together united as a family. And while we are working united as a family, we are building ourselves to step up all together. We are stepping up united together as one family. Tonight I see many devotees who are here tonight that I want to commend specially. There are many devotees who started following me or accompanying me everywhere that I go from almost the very first day. I don't need to call names to make anybody feel anyhow. But the devotees here tonight who would have started with me from day one, and to be here tonight, to see or to feel the energy, even I feel blessed. Take a moment tonight. And the song says, Nadiya na piya kabhi apna jal. A river doesn't drink its own water. It gives people the water. An incense stick doesn't just allow the world to enjoy. It burns itself in the process so that it can share the scent that it gives. A diya or a light, the wick burns itself so we could get the light. The diya doesn't want light for itself. Light is limitless. Light shares itself everywhere. You cannot light a diya and tell the diya, well, when you light, I want you to shine on this part of the building and this side you stay. Don't give them no light. A light is limitless. It shows unconditionally. A tree never partakes of its own fruits, but in turn, it shares fruits for everybody to be happy. And in turn, selflessness is the key to the super consciousness of the Divine Lord. नदिया न पिय कभी अपना जल, वृक्ष न खाए कभी अपने फल। नदिया न पिय कभी अपना जल, वृक्ष न खाए कभी अपने फल। अपना तन का मन का धन का दूजों को दे दो जान है, वो सच्चा इंसान रेस धरती का भगवान। अगर सजिस का अंग जले और दुनिया को मीत सवास दे, दीपक से उसका जीवन है जो दूजों को अपना प्रकाश दे, दूजों को अपना प्रकाश दे। धर्म है जिसका भगवत गीता धर्म है जिसका भगवत गीता सेवा ही वेद पुराण है, वो सच्चा इंसान रेस धरती का भगवान। चाहे कोई गुणगान करे, चाहे करे निंदा कोई, फूलों से कोई सत्कार करे या काते चुभ हो जाए कोई, चाहे चुभ हो जाए कोई। मान और अपमान ही दोनों मान और अपमान ही दोनों जिसके लिए समान है, वो सच्चा इंसान रेस धरती का भगवान। Hari Lal ki jai. Prabhu Shri Ramachandra turned to the shopkeeper and he says, why be selfish? Why did you want him to burn down somebody else's shop when your shop is standing there? You asked for it. Why be a selfish person? Why be egoistic? Don't be stubborn to what you've just done. You should be ashamed of yourself for what just happened. And the shopkeeper, he looked at Mahavir Swami. He bent his head. He turned around and he walked away. When he walked away, Prabhu Hanumanji put his hands together and he continued, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Do Akshar Ka Pyara Naam. And Prabhu Hanumanji turned around and he says, Prabhu, may I leave? Prabhu says, Jao. He turns around and he leaves the palace and he goes outside. Now listen, Bajranga Bali, he decides now to go to the forest, or not far into the forest, but it is still part of Ayodhya. But it is the gardens of the people of Ayodhya. When he goes into the village and he goes into the gardens, there are so many fruit trees, there are so many banana trees, there are so many orange trees. Bajranga Bali says, you know what, I feel like eating something. So Paunaputra goes into this little vatika, as we call it, of fruits. And he goes and he's about to eat, but he says, you know what, I don't want anybody to see. Next thing the village go and tell Prabhu Shri Ramachandra, I thief in fruits now. They go say, well, Jai Bhagwan, lock me up this time. So he goes now to the vatika of fruits and he starts to eat. And while eating, he says, let me hide myself. He changes his form into a different form of bandar. At that part of the forest, there were other monkeys as well. So he changes his form to look just like the other monkeys. And while being there, he will go to the different trees and he will eat and he will pick his fruits and he will eat. But he's Pavanaputra, he's strong. So if he doesn't want to jump up to get the fruit, what will he do? Root out the whole tree. If his belly is filled and he feels somewhat lazy, I'm not going to climb up there. Take up the whole tree from the ground, root it out, throw it down, go to the tree, sit down and start eating. The villagers have realized that there's a monkey in the Vatika. A monkey is in the field and in the gardens and he's creating havoc. He's destroying the crops. He's damaging all the fruits. So they walked up to where the monkey was, and when they walked up to him, they don't know it is Mahavir Swami. He's looking like all the other monkeys. They see this monkey and they say, no, this cannot be Lord Hanuman. You know what? This looks like a normal monkey. Let us set a trap. Let us try to catch him. Let us see what we can do. So they decided to set a few traps. And Mahavir Swami was smart. He knew exactly what they were doing. It is said on the first day when they set that trap to catch the monkeys, hoping to catch him, they caught another monkey. When they caught the other monkey, they took the monkey now to Prabhu Ramachandra and they said, Prabhu, we can't recognize the difference in these monkeys, but this monkey that we just brought in this cage has been creating havoc in our garden. Prabhu Ram, can you please instruct us? What should we do? Prabhu says, as much as I love these animals and I love Mahavir Swami because he's Bandarup, I will tell you, whatever punishment you think you want to give them, teach them because they need to know the right thing. They shouldn't come into the gardens and destroy. How will you feed your family? How will you feed the people? How will you take your crops to the market and in turn relieve or receive some form of financial compensation? Devotees, our scripture tells us that while Bajranga Bali is still in the garden of fruits, this monkey that was caught is about to be punished. How will they punish him? Scripture doesn't go in depth to say how the punishment was, but it wasn't that. The punishment was that they will take him very far into the forested region and they will release him so that he wouldn't come back and be a part of Ayodhya anymore. Literally cast him away. While they would do this to this monkey, they've gone back to their normal lives. 2 days after, another monkey is ripping out all the trees, eating the fruits, and they said, but we thought we caught this one. Isn't that this might be Mahavir Swami Hanumanji? So they walked up to the garden. Hanumanji, Jai Shri Ram. Hanumanji looked. But he turned back and he said, you know what? If I get caught and Prabhu Ram see me, I don't know, I already burned down a whole shop already. Let me hide myself. So he hides himself and he's not caught anymore. On the 3rd day, he's eating again. And now the gardeners have come. And while he's eating, his tummy is filled. He cannot move. You ever eat till you can't move? How many people here eat till you can't move? Yeah, right. How they say it? is best. How do they say? Is best man belly boss than good food? Yeah, that why man have big belly. See? The saying goes, is best man belly boss than good food waste. Hanuman Baba sat there. You all ever wonder why Pundits have a big belly? You'll ever wonder why? You all try eating chana and aloo 5 times a day every day of your life and you go see. You try it and you will see. So when the mothers, please forgive me, but when the mothers say, Baba, I know you eat it already, but Baba, mine is the best one, try it now. Every house, every mother says the same thing. And by the time the day finish, you can't move. Imagine when you eat that food one time for the day and you finish and Pandit go, you say, I can't make, I will go in the hammock and just sprawl out. I go in the bed and sleep, and Pandit had to eat, go there again, sit down and eat again. Go on next puja, sit down, eat again. By the time night time he sits down and he's like, Jai Shri Ram. Mahaviri Swami couldn't move. He's lying there and they brought the trap and they're looking at him and they're saying, look at him, he can't even help himself now. Today we caught you. You can't even move. And they lifted him and he says, well, lift me. What could I say? They lifted him and they put him in a cage and they said, we are taking you to Lord Ram. And when he heard Lord Ram, Jai Bhagwan, today I will be caught. He decides now to fix himself and sit upright and he starts to concentrate so that he can digest fast and he can stand knock that little belly. When he goes now to the palace and he goes in, he's asking himself, I wonder if Prabhu Ram will recognize me. I'm not looking like Hanumanji. I'm a different bandar. They took him into the palace. Prabhu Ram is sitting and speaking to everybody. And as soon as this bandar goes in, there the villagers walk in, Prabhu Ram, this is the monkey, we caught him. This is the one giving trouble. And Prabhu Ram looked and he says, this bandar? And as soon as he saw the bandar and he saw the monkey, he recognizes immediately. He sees Lord Hanumanji and he turns this way. I think I remember, it was just like the last one, right? Punish him. Prabhu Rama says, punish him. And Bajrangbali looked at him and he says, punish? Hare Prabhu, Jai Shri Ram. And there it is that he burst out of the cage, standing there. And while he's standing, Prabhu Ramachandra, he says, today you have to pay the price. You always go to the shops and you go to the people of the village and you take everything and say, put the bill on the palace. Today you have to pay the price. Mahaviri says, Prabhu, please forgive me now. Prabhu Ramachandra says, how can I forgive you? Look at what you have done to the people's garden. And when he says that, it said Mahavir closed his eyes, and with one of the siddhis that he has, it is said he closed his eyes and there he took a deep breath. And as soon as he took that breath, he forced an energy out of him, and you started to see bruise marks on his body. With the bruise marks, he says, Prabhu, he says to all the villagers, to all the gardeners, he says, look everybody, you see these marks that are automatically coming out of my skin? It is contagious. Come, let me jump on you now. You all feel Bajrangabali was okay? You think he was easy? He jumped by everybody and he says, Prabhu Ramachandra, you want to punish me? Well, this is what happens when you want to punish Mahavir Swami. You take it back now. He jumped by Prabhu Ramachandra and Prabhu Ram stood there. He smiled and he says, Mahavir, where else in the world will I ever find another Bajrangabali? At that point in time, he tells the villagers, go. I will compensate for it. I will make sure everything is well. Don't worry, I will take care of it. And he says, Paunaputra, please calm down now. Shant ho jai. Calm down and show me your body. Come, bring back your body to its normal self. And Mahavir Swami, Jai Shri Ram. He turns back to his normal body. And he says, Prabhu, don't you love me as your best devotee? And when he says, love me as your best devotee, in the sky, Hari Narayana Narayan. Greatest bhakta, best devotee. Listen, my friends. Tonight, while Prabhu Ramachandra is speaking to Lord Hanumanji, Bajrangabali says, Prabhu, am I not your best devotee? And then Narada comes along and he says, Prabhu, please tell him, am I not your best devotee? Narayana? Hari? Narayana? क्या बात. Holiday song, Jai Bhagwan. Listen. करकते हो बिजली, बरसते हो बादल, तू सैलाब तूफान, तेरी राह में हायल. Tonight, Pavanaputra is speaking to his Lord, and he says, with all the love and all the faith I have in you, Prabhu, let the world understand the love of Bajrangabali to you. Let the world see that no matter what I do outside there, no matter how much trouble I give, at the end of it, Prabhu, nobody can love you like I love you. He says, Karakate ho bijli, barasate ho badal, to sailabo tufan, teri raah mein hayal. तो बेकवाफ होके हंसता चला जा, हंसता चला जा, तू राह अपनी भराता चला जा. कदम नौजवान बढ़ाता चला जा, बढ़ाता चला जा, तू राह अपनी भराता चला जा. नौजवान साथियों, निंदा मत करो, मेरे आपस में रहो और पूजा सा करो. नौजवान साथियों, निंदा मत करो, मिल आपस में रहो और पूजा सा करो. सदाकत का डंका बजाता चला जा, बजाता चला जा, तू राह अपनी बढ़ाता चला जा. जय श्री राम. अरे जो मुँह से बात वो तो जा झलाता, और सागर के मौजो वो तू जा छेड़ता. परे जो मुँह से बात वो तो जा झलाता, और सागर के मौजो वो तू जा छेड़ता. मसलता चलता हो, दबाता चला जा, दबाता चला जा, तू राह अपनी बढ़ाता चला जा. क्या बात. वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की, उमापति महादेव की. Bajrang Bali, he heard the voice from the skies coming down, Hari Narayana, Narayana, and he says, what is wrong with you, boy? Narad is coming down. Narad stops and he says, Hare Mahavir, Pawan Putra, did I just hear you say that you are the greatest bhakta? You are the greatest devotee? Prabhu, tell him now. Prabhu, haven't you told him? Prabhu says, tell him what? Prabhu, bring out the book. Prabhu, that nice big book you have that you write all your personal stuff. Prabhu, bring out the book. Show him the list of the names of all your best devotees. Show him the list of the names of all the devotees that you hold dear to you. And Prabhu Ramachandra brought out a big book. And he opened the book and he turned the pages and he stopped where there's a list of names. And when he saw the names, he gave it to Narada. He says, look, dekho na, this is the big book. Narada looks and he sees his name first, number 1 devotee. And he starts to scroll now. Oh, Hanumanji, your name is not here. And Hanuman Swami, he says, my name is not there. Let me see. And he starts to scroll and he's turning. I know why. Prabhu, show him the little book you have. Prabhu went and he brought a little book, small little journal. And when he opened it, Lord Hanumanji is first. There's no Narad Muni there. Narad Muni looked at it and he says, but why would you have a big book and you'll have a small book? And in the small book, Hanumanji's name is first. Narada's name is first in the big book. Prabhu says, when you ask for the big book, don't let your ego be too puffed up. Not because you see your name means you laugh at him. But Prabhu, why do you have two books? And how come in the second book, the small one, my name is not there, but Lord Hanumanji's name, it is foremost, it is at the top. And Prabhu says, now I will tell you the secret. You see all the names in the big book? He says, you are number one devotee who remembers me. He says, this big book is the list of names of everybody who remember me, everybody who love me, everybody who adore me, everybody who worship me. And you are the top of the list, Narada. And Narada says, yes. Tell him. And then Prabhu says, wait. And you see this small book? This little book? These are the names in order of number one coming down of the people I consider and I remember. Jai Shri Ram. Narada bent his head and he says, Prabhu, ye kya hai Prabhu? And Prabhu says, you will continue to love my name. But Narada, know from today that only few will be dear to me. That is why I have a small book. Few will be my people. Few will be my friends. Tonight, how many people do you have in your life? How much friends do you keep? How many people do you associate with? When you keep too much, trouble comes, not so. Have the few that you can trust. Have the few that can stand for you. Have the few that will support you. Like we say, the friend in need is a friend indeed. Have the few that will be there, that no matter what situations arise, whatever problems come, they will be there to support you. Have the few people in your life who motivate you. Have the few people in your life who stand up to literally say, hey, what you're doing is not right. Let me help you and show you. There's so many people in today's world who are contradicting so many things and pulling down the closest people to them. There's so many people in today's world who are with us side by side. They're standing with us. They're speaking with us. They're laughing with us. And in the end, they do not even have our own interests at heart. It's only something for selfish gain. And if they don't get anything, then you are the worst person in the world for them. Choose your friends wisely. Choose your people wisely. Choose the people you tell your life to. Choose the people you tell everything to. Choose the ones who you decide to speak to about life and about your personal issues and your personal crisis. Choose the people, my friends, who will be there. As we say, the friend in need is the friend indeed. Today, Prabhu Rama, he is about to now get up to go back at the back of the palace. He says, Narada, shant ho jai. Calm down now. And Narada says, Prabhu, I feel ashamed of myself. I feel ashamed that I was thinking all along that I was the best. But knowing now that I could never replace that great bhakta of yours, Hanuman Baba, I feel ashamed of myself. And Prabhu Rama says, he says, don't be ashamed. Leave shame for the people of the world who do not recognize me. He says, leave shame for the people who neglect me. Leave shame for those who sit in the midst of my company and even chanting my name, they chant, but there's no energy inside. There's no love inside. They're doing a robotic reaction. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, yeah. Where's the love? Where's the bhakti? Gyan. Bhakti, jnana, vairagya ki kaan. Where's the bhakti, the jnana and vairagya? Where's the knowledge? Where's the wisdom? Where's the energy for wanting God to bless you? Where is the burning desire for God to actually be in your life? Some people pray because they have to pray. Some people pray because my father used to do our prayers every year and I need to do the prayers too. Some people pray because I didn't do our prayers in the last 5 years, or since COVID 3-4 years I haven't done our prayers, so I need to do our prayers. Where is the wanting? I want to do it because I love God. I want to do it because I want to feel God. I want to feel energy. He says, feel shame for the people who do not recognize that their time in the world is not here for a long time. The world that we live in today, this bhajan says, Prabhu Hanumanji, he is looking at Prabhu Ram and he says, Prabhu, where are you going? Kahan ja raha ho? Prabhu says, I'm going to the back. Prabhu, I have a few questions to ask, but I don't know if you will know it alone. Can we go down to Guru Vashishta? We want to find out a few things. Myself, Bharata, Lakshmana, we had a few questions to ask about you, Lord. And Prabhu Ram says, no problem. Let's prepare to go. And Hanumanji is thinking, Prabhu, I just want to tell you that while I would have stood on your side, from being in the forest till this day, no matter what the world will think and say, Lord, I am never ashamed of your name. I am never ashamed of your glory. I am never ashamed of you, Prabhu. Tonight, are we ashamed of God? Some people ashamed to clap. You tell them clap and Hara. Any sound coming out? How do you say it? You clapping on silence. You're clapping and nobody can hear anything. When we say sing, you see the mouth moving and not even the air coming out. Jai Bhagavan. Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki. Are you ashamed of God? No. Don't be ashamed of God. Stand up for who you are. Love the divine Lord. It is not the physical God that will bless you, but the consciousness of the universe will work with you. It is something like we say, mind over matter. If you can, my friends, get beyond the stage of feeling ashamed for prayers and worship, then you are going to a different consciousness of the universe. When we speak of that beautiful word, shame and being ashamed, Prabhu Ramachandra, in a wonderful narration, it says, Parantu sharma nahi hoga, dharma bhi hoga, karma bhi hoga. He says, you're building your dharma and at the same time you're creating your karma. Don't be ashamed while you're doing things in the world. Do it correctly. Be ashamed if you do the wrong things. In the age of Kali Yuga, listen. He Ramachandra kahi gaye siya se. He Ramachandra kahi gaye siya se. Aisa Kali Yuga aayega. हंस चुएगा राना तुमका कौन मोती आएगा हे रामचंद्र कहीं गए सिया से परंतु शर्मा नहीं होगी बात बात में माता पिता को गीता आग दिखाएगा हे रामचंद्र कहीं गए सिया से The beautiful bhajan says dharma bhi hoga karma bhi hoga. Instead of building your dharma, you're building your karma in the wrong way. Have you ever heard the saying wrong and strong? People will be wrong in today's world and they will be strong, but that is Kali Yuga. People will do the wrong things and they will stand up as though they are correct. Dharma bhi hoga, karma bhi hoga, parantu sharma nahi hogi. Baat baat mein mata pita ko, they will be ashamed of their parents. Are you ashamed of your mother and father? A mother and father who sacrificed for you from day one, teach you to walk and to eat and to speak and to correspond with the world. He says in Kali Yuga, people will be ashamed of their parents. In today's society, when a child grows up and reaches a certain age, in front of everybody, ask that child for a hug na. Ask that child for a kiss na. What will they say? Mommy, when we go home now, everybody watching. Are you ashamed of mother? Are you ashamed of father? Jai Bhagavan. राजा और प्रजा दोनों में होगी निषिद्ध न की चाहताने कदम कदम पर करेंगे दोनों अपनी अपनी मनमानी ओ मनमानी जिसके हाथ में होगी लाठी जिसके हाथ में होगी लाठी सच चुवेगा राना तुमका, कौवा मोती आएगा। हे रामचंद्र कही गए सिया से, सुनो सिया कल युग में काला धन और काले होंगे, काले होंगे। चोर उचक्के नगर से और प्रभु भक्त निर्धन होंगे, प्रभु निर्धन। जो होगा लोभी और भोगी, जो होगा लोभी और होगी, वो योगी कहलाएगा। सचुएगा राना तुमका, कौवा मोती आएगा। हे रामचंद्र कही गए सिया से, मंदिर सोना सोना होगा, बड़ी रहेगी मधुशाला, हो मधुशाला। So let me remind you, this is one of my favorite verses. Says, मंदिर सोना सोना होगा. Sona means what? Sona has two meanings. Sona means gold, and sona means to sleep. He says, mandir sona sona hoga. When you go mandir, when you go yajna, people sit down so. They sleep away. But you know what? Mandir sona sona hoga, bari rehi madhushala. Oh madhushala. Let me remind you, the madhushala is the madhushala is a rum shop. You go in a rum shop and see if they're sleeping. You don't even have to tell them stand up. You don't even have to tell them dance. You don't even have to tell them clap. But you know what? They will jump, dance, spin, anything. Hare! Tonight, Bhaktas, while we're hearing the energy of God, let us stop in the world making excuses when it comes to prayer, when it comes to God, when it comes to devotion. In turn, when you are blessed and blessed with the glance of the infinite bliss of God, embrace it. Bolo. मंदिर सोना सोना होगा, बड़ी रहेगी मधुशाला. ओ मधुशाला. पिता के संग भरी सभी में नाचे, नाचेंगे की भर डाला, की घर भाला. कैसा कन्यादान पिता है, कैसा कन्यादान पिता है, कन्या का धन खाएगा. हंस चुएगा राना तुमका, कौवा मोती आएगा. हे रामचंद्र कही गए सिया से. हे रामचंद्र कही गए सिया से, हे रामचंद्र कही गए सिया से. ऐसा कलयुग आएगा, हंस चुएगा राना तुमका, कौवा मोती आएगा. हंस चुएगा राना तुमका, कौवा मोती आएगा. हे रामचंद्र कही गए सिया से. वृंदावन में हरिलाल की, उमापति महादेव की जय. Tonight, devotees, while Bajrangabali had gone with Prabhu Shri Ramachandra, Lakshmana, Bharata, Sadrukna, Lord Hanumanji, they've decided to go to Guru Vashishta. And when they sit now in the ambience of Guru Vashishta, they say, Gurudev. Lord Hanumanji puts his hands together. Lakshmana, haath jod kar. Their hands are together. Guru, we have a question. Our Lord is Prabhu Shri Ramachandra, the incarnation of Mahavishnu Bhagavan. But while he is incarnation of Mahavishnu Bhagavan, Prabhu, Gurudev, can you please tell us why is it that Prabhu Ramachandra had to go through all this hurt and all this pain? Why is it that Prabhu Ram had to go to this forest and lose Sita Devi and the abduction and everything? And there Guru Vasishtha reminds Prabhu Rama. He says, Prabhu, in case you didn't know, when your father Raja Dashrath had gone according to the Shravan Kumar Katha, when your father at that point, he had gone and shot Shravan Kumar, he was shrapped that just like Shravan Kumar's parents would have lost their son, he was shrapped that his son will also leave. And when his son would leave, he will die out of suffering, tormentation to the heart and grief. He would have died. Prabhu Ram had to go to leave. Mahavir Swami says, but Gurudev, but how is it and why? Why is it that Prabhu Ramachandra had to allow Sita Devi to be abducted by Ravana? Why could this had to be possible? And the Guru closes his eyes, and through divine vision, he says there's two reasons why. There's two reasons why. What are the two reasons why? First of all, Ravana was a great bhakta of Prabhu Shankar Bholenath. Ravana sat down in meditation for so many years, and while in meditation, he felt as though he was ready for liberation. So Ravana decided now to go to his Guru, and he says, Gurudev, I want to gain moksha. I want to gain liberation. Can you please tell me, how do I do it? And the Guru says, you have to meditate, pray hard. If you keep praying and worshipping the gods, you will get liberation. So Ravana says, but I am worshipping Prabhu Shankar and I've loved Lord Shiva. Can you please help me understand this? Which of the deities or which of the god is the god of liberation? And the Guru says, Ravana, Lord Vishnu. He is the preserver. He is the sustainer. When you pray to him, you will be liberated. When you worship him, you will be given moksha and liberation, and you will be elevated from this world. And while Bajrangabali at this point, while he decides now to continue with the message, he says, Gurudev, at this time, while I question you, please tell me, so what happened to Ravana then? If he wanted liberation, how did he turn to be so bad? And Guru Vasishtha says that when he decided now to speak to Brahmadev, Brahmadev says the only way you can gain liberation is to go through the hands of Lord Vishnu. But this is what you must do. In order to get liberation, the only way and the fastest way is if Prabhu Vishnu can destroy you himself. And Ravana says, okay, I wonder how. Lord Vishnu says, or Lord Brahmadev rather, he says, I am the God of creation. In the next kalpa that is rolling around, it was at the very beginning of Satyuga, coming down to the end where Treta Yuga is about to begin, the age of Prabhu Ram. He says in the age of Treta Yuga, Prabhu will have to come and take manifested form to go through the forest and bless certain sages and destroy certain Rakshasas. If you want, you can be the highest of them. Go down there, live there, and be the highest of them. You may have to kidnap Sita Devi if you must, but don't worry. In the end, the Lord will personally come and he will destroy you. And at that point, you will receive what you're asking for, liberation. That is one of the... So we are reading from two of the scriptures, Sri Hanuman Charitramanas and the Sri Hanuman Ank. The Sri Hanuman Charitramanas says, Ravana wanted liberation so badly that he decided now to adopt Sita Mata so that Prabhu Vishnu in the form of Sri Ram will come and he will destroy him. And that was the key to the entire process, so that Ravana can be elevated and merge and become one with Prabhu Vishnu. What is the second reason? I wonder what is the time, boy. Shri Rama Jai Rama Jaya Jaya Rama 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 Shri Rama Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Rama Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Ram. Gajanana Swami ki. The second reason for Ravana for allowing Prabhu Ramachandra to come to the earth, it is said one day, Ravana, he's worshipping Lord Shiva and he feels an energy within himself as though he feels powerful. Have you ever prayed so much until you feel strong inside? You feel a divine strength within you. You feel like the divine Lord himself. The energy is ready to burst out of you. It is so much. Ravana was praying to Prabhu Shankar so much that he felt powerful. And he said, you know what? I will go and I will go to the feet or to the base of Kailash Parvat and I will show Lord Shiva out of his own strength and blessing how strong I am. Ravana went to the base of Kailash Parvat. He stuck his hand under the base and he lifted. And when he lifted, Har Har Mahadev, he lifted. The mountain started to shake. Kailash Parvat started to shake. Prabhu Shankar felt it for a second while he was sitting in meditation. Parvati Mata looked at him and she says, Prabhu, do you feel that? And Prabhu Shankar feels that the mountain is shaking. And when he looked down, he saw Ravana. Ravana is looking up at him. Har Har Mahadev. Look how powerful I've become. Out of ego. And when he's about to lift, Prabhu Shankar looked at Parvati Devi and he said, look at him. While he's in meditative posture, it is said he took now his right foot. He put it to the base or to the floor where he was sitting. And as soon as his big toe touched the mountain, it pressed back down the whole mountain and it squeezed the fingers of Ravana. As soon as it squeezed the fingers of Ravana, he shouted out, Mahadev! And he stopped right there and he pulled out his fingers. And when he saw them crushed, he says, Prabhu, please forgive me. Ego made me thought that I was better than you. And with that ego, he turned around and he's going now. He's walking away and he's squeezing on his fingers. He's massaging his fingers. And while he's massaging the fingers, Ravana, he realizes that he's not as powerful as he thought. Going through the forest, he sees a woman sitting on a rock and she's meditating. She's praying, and while she's praying, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. he walks and he sees that woman meditating, and he looks at her complexion, he looks at her form, and he looks at her body. He is Ravana of the Rakshasic clan. His nature is to lust. His nature is to now fall in love automatically. And when he sees her, he's about to approach her. Who is that woman who sits there? Jai Bhagwan. Well, tomorrow night, you will have to come to listen to that part of the message. Tomorrow is a beautiful night. Lord Hanumanji was just like you. Lord Hanumanji says, Guru Vishish, batao na, tell me what. And Guru Vishish says, hold on, wait, let me drink some water. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki, Umapati Mahadev ki, Bajrang ki. At that point, Guru Vashishta, he's continuing to speak to Lord Hanumanji, Prabhu Rama, and they're waiting to hear who is that woman and what, because of that woman, allowed Prabhu Ram to go to the forest. Tomorrow night you have to come to find out. It's the final night of our Yajna. It is the night of Shri Hanuman Jayanti. There's so much power and energy that will be felt tomorrow night at this wonderful Yajna. There'll be also special blessings of this Mahavir Swami. Tomorrow night you can come and walk with our coconut. We'll be setting up a nice fire in the Havan Kund. You can come and walk with your coconuts, and you can pray, and you can walk around Pavanaputra as much as you want and pray. And in the end you'll offer it in the beautiful Havan, so that Mahavir Swami can take away your problems and your troubles and your miseries. Speak to him. He's alive, he's tall, he's strong, and he's powerful. Umapati Mahadeva ki! With this we end our beautiful message. At this time, we have with us tonight a wonderful Bhakta, Shri Arti ji. To those who know her, she's here tonight. Arti Bodhkun. We'd like to invite you to give us a wonderful rendition, a wonderful bhajan. After which we have with us a wonderful devotee who is about to perform a dance to Melissa Sinanan. We'll invite you just after this wonderful bhajan to give us a wonderful dance.
Sitaram, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, all the way from Sani Grande. It is indeed a blessing. Such a beautiful night tonight. So I'd like to thank Babaji for having me here as well, and I hope you all enjoy this bhajan. Begi haro hanu man Mahaprabhu, jo kachu sankat koi hamaro, kauna su sankat मोरे गरीब हो, जो तुमसे नहीं जाता है तारो। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो महाराज। जय जय
Special thanks for that wonderful bhajan. Prem Susumapati Mahadeva ki jai. At this time now, we'd like to invite now Melissa Sinaran to come forward to give us a beautiful dance. As we take this beautiful moment tonight, once more to feel the energy of the Divine Lord, as we are about to now prepare for the dance, remember that while we are at the feet of Mahavir Swami, many are called and few are chosen. And every opportunity we get to pray and to invite the deities, to worship and to receive darshan is one that we should always embrace. At this time now, we hand over to Melissa. Special thanks, Melissa, for that wonderful dance. Tonight, devotees, at this time, let me invite all to stand as we now join in our beautiful final arti. आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ कला की। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ कला। ओम श्री हनुमते नमः। जाके बल से गिरिवर कापे, मृग दोष जाके निकट न जाके। जाके बल से गिरिवर कापे, मृग दोष जाके निकट न जाके। अंजनी 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 पुत्र महाबलदाई, संतन के प्रभु सदा सहाय। देवीरा रघुनाथ पताए, लंका जारी सिया सुधिलाए। देवीरा रघुनाथ पताए, लंका जारी सिया सुधिलाए। लंका से गत समुद्र सिकाए, जात पवन सुत बार न लाए। मूरचित परे सकारे, आनि संजीवन प्राण उबारे। लक्ष्मण मूरचित परे सकारे, आनि संजीवन प्राण उबारे। कैकी चमकारी, अहि रावण के पूजा उचारी। नर मुनि आरती उतारे, जय 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 हनुमान उचारे। सुन नर मुनि आरती उतारे, जय 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 हनुमान उचारे। कंचन 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 तारक पूरल उचारे, आरती करत अंजना माये। त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव। लाल लाई लाल लाई लाल लाई ಲಾಲಲಾಯಿ 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 ಆಚನ್ಯ ಬೇಗಲಮ್ಮ ಓರೆ ವಾರೆ ಕಾತೇರಿ ಆಚನ್ಯ ಬೇಗಲಮ್ಮ ಓರೆ ವಾರೆ ಕಾತೇರಿ ಲಾಲಲಾಯಿ 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 ಆಚನ್ಯ ಬೇಗಲಮ್ಮ ಓರೆ ವಾರೆ ಕಾತೇರಿ ಆಚನ್ಯ ಬೇಗಲಮ್ಮ ಓರೆ ವಾರೆ ಕಾತೇರಿ ಮಂಜತನಿ ಅಂಬ ಮಂಜಾತಾನಿ ಮಂಜಾತಾನಿ ಉತ್ತಂಬಲೋ ಅಮ್ಮ ಸಂಬ್ರಾಣಿ ಮಾ ಸಂಬ್ರಾಣಿ ಮಾ ಸಂಬ್ರಾಣಿ ಮಾಲಪ್ಪೆ ನಾವೊಂಗಿ ಮಾ ಜಯ ಜಯ ಅಂಕಲಮ ಆಚನ್ಯ ಬೇಗಲಮ ಓರೆ ವಾರೆ ಕಾತೇರಿ ಯಮ್ಮ ಜೈ ದುರ್ಗೆ ದೇವಿಯರೇ ಯಮ್ಮ ಕಾತೇರಿ ಕಾತೇರಿ ಮೀನಾಕ್ಷಿ और ಭದ್ರಕಾಳಿ 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 ಓಸೆ ಸಮಯ ಅಂಕಲಮ್ಮ ಜಯ ಜಯ ಪರಮೇಶ್ವರಿ ಆಚನ್ಯ ಬೇಗಲಮ್ಮ ಓರೆ ವಾರೆ ಕಾತೇರಿ ಲಾಲಲಾಯಿ 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 ಆಚನ್ಯ ಬೇಗಲಮ್ಮ ಓರೆ ವಾರೆ ಕಾತೇರಿ ಆಚನ್ಯ ಬೇಗಲಮ್ಮ ಓರೆ ವಾರೆ ಕಾತೇರಿ 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 उमापति महादेव की जय वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की बजरंग बली की जय आसन लीजिए सब लोग let's all take our seats. As we take our seats, we conclude with a beautiful night of devotion. And after concluding, remember we are inviting devotees to partake of arti, prasad. Meals are being prepared for each and every one, so devotees can partake of meals tonight. And until tomorrow, remember you can walk with your offerings. We say Bhagwan's blessings to each and every one. Jai Bajranga Bali.